Super Sonic, everyone's favorite all-powerful chili dog loving beast slayer. Sometimes he's necessary to stopping a world-ending threat, and other times Sonic can do it without the boost, and only uses it for fun after the fact. Today, we're gonna look at Super Sonic's role in every mainline Sonic the Hedgehog game, and rank him from worthless to elite. Sonic's first time going Super wasn't until Sonic 2, and here, once you collect all 7 Chaos Emeralds from the bonus stages, you can activate Super Sonic form in any level once you collect 50 rings and jump. When Super, he's got faster acceleration, a higher jump, and complete invincibility, with the only real trade-off being his ring count depleting, and if it hits 0, he's back to normal. You can beat the entire game without going Super once, but you can also collect the Emeralds pretty quickly and get to use them for a large portion of the game. It really depends on how much the player wants him. Since he's not necessary though, it can't be a very high placement, but feeling this overpowered and being available for a large chunk of the game gives him a respectable spot and optional but effective. This game opens with Sonic being fully super and gliding his way onto Angel Island, until Knuckles pops up out of nowhere, deals damage to Super Sonic, which is new, and steals the emeralds for himself. You collect him the same way as last time, so he's available as soon as you want him to be, but new here is that he's a mandatory part of the story. Once you reach the Doomsday Zone, Sonic automatically upgrades to Super Sonic, and is needed to stop an Eggman Robo from escaping with the Master Emerald. He of course wins, gets the Emerald, and reverts to regular Sonic to return the Master Emerald to its rightful place. It's also worth mentioning that there's an additional overpowered Sonic form called Hyper Sonic, and he's a little stronger than Super Sonic, being able to breathe underwater and jump a bit higher, but it's nothing crazy. Still, it's his all-time strongest form and the only time we see it, so I feel like there should be a little extra credit, and I'd honestly be willing to go elite with this one. He plays a vital role in the climax and is usable throughout the entire game. Doesn't get much better than that. In Sonic Adventure, Super Sonic's only usable for the final boss in the true ending of the game, which requires beating every single story mode, so most players haven't gotten that far. With Perfect Chaos taking full form, Sonic's friends pull together with the Chaos Emeralds they've collected, power up Sonic, and let him take on Chaos mano-a-mano. Sonic wins in one of the easier final bosses in the series, and brings Chaos back to his Chill Zero form. Beating a world-ending elemental monster all by himself is really impressive, but not being usable in any other part of the game holds it back from being full-on elite, so he's a strong key to success. Like the first adventure, Adventure 2 only features Super Sonic in the last story, and there he goes Super Saiyan alongside Shadow, which is the first time he shares the Super Spotlight with anyone, and it makes for a super badass moment. Them flying through outer space, taking turns landing blows on the giant lizard ultimate life form thing is such a cinematic and peak Sonic moment. And in the aftermath, with Sonic being strong enough to teleport back onto the Ark and Shadow not being able to do so, seemingly falling to his death, it paints Sonic as the stronger hedgehog, even if he just learned about Chaos Control a couple of days ago. It's an incredibly elite moment, but since he splits the workload with another golden quilled hedgehog, he's doing less work than usual. Definitely strong power of friendship vibes. Just like the last couple games, Super Sonic's reserved for the final boss here, and this time he's back to a one-man wrecking crew. Now, it's not as intimidating of a villain as Perfect Chaos or the planet-destroying Eclipse Cannon, but it's a Transformer-looking Eggman Robo, and the fight takes place on the moon to up the stakes a little. This is the true ending, and he's the key to stopping Eggman, so he'll fit well there. He's not seen here unless you beat the game as all the other characters, which is asking a lot, but when you finally do, it's another fight up in space against an Eggman robot, and it's maybe a little harder than that first one, but still more than manageable. After he wins, he tracks down the falling capsule containing Vanilla, breaks her free, and in doing so, loses super form and does the remainder of the rescue as regular old Sonic. Again, there are multiple endings, and some don't require Super Sonic, but he's a vital part of the true ending, so he'll get another key to success tier. Like these other modern-era games, Super Sonic only shows up for the last story, after you complete the 4 main team playthroughs. Metal Overlord is one of the most menacing foes in the series. He scanned every single character over the course of the game to figure out how to defeat them, and the plan was honestly almost foolproof. Almost. He achieved exactly what he wanted, but since the Sonic crew had all the Chaos Emeralds, there was one tiny thing that Metal didn't account for. Even still, he needed the 11 other playable characters to contribute to the fight, including Tails and Knuckles for his phase, which waters down his contribution a little. He's the game changer, but the whole theme of this game is about teamwork, so friendship tier it is. This is basically the same case as the previous Advance games, but now Ultimate Jamurl is the big bad guy, and Sonic goes Super to stop him in the true ending. This time though, he's got Eggman helping him, and it's really cool to see the two working together, but that reliance on someone else to win the fight knocks him down a good bit, about the same as Heroes. Sonic and Blaze collect the Chaos and Soul Emeralds throughout the game, and use them to go God Mode against the two Eggmen and take down the Egg Salamanders, saving both of their worlds. Like Adventure 2, Super Sonic's got a pal in Burning Blaze, and without her, the job couldn't have been finished, so he'll get credit where it's due as really useful, but benefiting a lot from a teammate. Sonic dies toward the end of the game. Mephiles just cooks him when he's not paying attention, and he only comes back to life because the rest of the heroes track down all the Chaos Emeralds and at least perform some weird ritual thing and kisses him. For whatever reason, that makes him go Super, and from there, he shares his power with both Shadow and Silver, and the three Super Hedgehogs take down Solaris in the past, present, and future. Now, the villain this time definitely needed 3 guys to take down, so I can't take too much credit away from him for that, but the fact that Sonic died and needed someone to manually make him Super does hinder the overall feel. With this one, teamwork makes the dream work for sure. This game's identical to the first Sonic Rush in terms of Super Sonic. 2 Eggmen, help from Burning Blaze, and the power of friendship. Yeah. The opening cutscene has a high-speed Sonic vs. Dr. Eggman battle up in outer space with missiles flying, hordes of robots attacking, and the most cartoony and detailed expressions we've ever seen from these two. Sonic gets caught by one of Eggy's mechs and goes Super to break out and turn the tables on the Doctor, chasing him down to take out once and for all. But then his cockiness gets the best of him, and he gets yoinked by some Eggman contraption that absorbs all the power from the Chaos Emeralds and directs it at the Earth to form a f***ing death laser that shatters it to pieces. Sonic goes all and has to bring all the dead emeralds to different temples across the planet to restore them and all the continents. Super Sonic isn't seen again until the final phase of the final boss, where Dark Gaia fully reawakens into one of the scariest Sonic villains, and Sonic goes all in to take him down. I know he's not in most of this game, but this final sequence is one of the most triumphant and grand climaxes in the series, and he defeats an all-time menacing threat basically by himself. He's at the very least a key to success, borderline elite though. This game brings Super Sonic back to his classic form. Collect the 7 Chaos Emeralds at your own pace, and once you do, you can go Super at any point in the game. He's stronger in gameplay than most Super Sonics too, being able to breathe underwater and illuminate dark areas. It's a great playable look. If he was needed at any point throughout the game, I'd be willing to put it really high, but since you can fully beat the game without him, he's kinda unnecessary. Super effective, but for these tiers, I value how much he needs to contribute to win, and that's not at all here. He's not worthless, he's a great option to have, but he's still just that. An option. And it's the same story for episode 2, so that's going right there with it. In Sonic Colors, you have to collect all the red rings throughout the game to unlock every act in the Sonic Simulator, and then beat all of those to acquire the 7 Chaos Emeralds, which finally lets you play as Super Sonic in any non-boss level in the game. It's a great bonus, but the amount of work you have to do to unlock him is brutal, and by the time you do, the day is saved and there's no need for his assistance, so him being here is honestly worthless. Both Classic and Modern Sonic go Super to take down the Time Eater at the end of the game. And normally, I'd dock him some for relying on somebody else, but they're both Super Sonic, so he's highly capable and necessary for saving the day, while the rest of the Sonic cast chills on the sidelines, so both Supers are for sure a key to success. This game basically does the Sonic Colors thing again. You have to 100% all the red rings to finally get the option to use Super Sonic in levels. I like that he's here, but he's completely unnecessary to anything plot-wise, and is a nice and easy worthless. This game follows the same classic Sonic formula. You can collect the Chaos Emeralds at your own pace and use Super Sonic at any point after that as long as you have at least 50 rings. You can still beat the game without Super Sonic, but in order to get the true ending, you have to collect all 7 Chaos Emeralds so you can go Gold Mode for the final boss. Being this vital to the ending, in addition to being playable as early as the player desires, gives this one by far the strongest case for an elite Super Sonic. I hate Sonic Forces. It's a more serious plot, with Eggman winning and the fate of the world at stake, but the Chaos Emeralds don't play any role whatsoever, and they only added Super Sonic as DLC, so let's give Sonic Forces some more hate. This is worthless. Super Sonic is a much more active part of the story than ever before. The Titans are way too powerful for Sonic to do anything against in his base form, so each Starfall Island has him collecting all the emeralds, whooping a Titan's ass, and flying on to the next one. So you get to fight multiple bosses as him throughout the course of the game, and he's the biggest reason they're able to win. Even freaking Eggman gives him a Chaos Emerald to take down the End in the end. Yeah, the final boss is called the End. I don't know. Seeing Super Sonic consistently involved was a treat, and he's needed to take down all the big baddies, which makes this a hell of an easy elite. Yes. This is basically Mania all over again. You can unlock him on your own terms, and the true ending has a final boss that Sonic needs to go Super to take down, so it's one last elite to end things on. And there you have it.